Hi, I'm Morgan Stribler with Sans Minds Magic. I've been wanting to put out this PK Touch project for a long time. But what's held me back was I was looking for the right company. Sans Minds Magic fit the bill perfectly. They're creative, very professional, and their videos come out with the most amazing quality of any other dealer on the market. These touches that you're gonna learn today have been in my arsenal for 15 years. I actually did it at the Bellagio and Caesar's Palace when I was performing in Vegas, and I'm gonna teach you all of my closely guarded secrets. Now, let's get started. Now I want to talk a little bit about the history of PK Touches. Banachek put out a booklet many years ago, and he actually did a PK Touch where he would come up and cleanse the aura of the person. I'm not going to go into how he accomplished his touch, but you can pick up his manuscript. It's very good, and it's what really started the whole PK Touch craze. I also want to talk a little bit about Milbourne Christopher. He was the first person to actually use thread, and he used horsehair. And dual reality has been around for many years, but Kenton Knepper was actually the first person to publish dual reality. And I just like to give a shout out to all of these people because they've been a huge inspiration to me personally in developing these PK Touch routines. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the difference between dual reality and real-time touches. First, I'll be covering the dual reality. What that is essentially a time delay. So for example, if I were to touch a person, there would be, for example, a delay in the time that I touch the other spectator. So what you have to do is you have to make this spectator, for example, close their eyes, and you're going to touch them without this person knowing it. And then there's going to be a delay, and you just touch this person, and then you have them open their eyes and verify that they felt a touch. The very important note here, you touch the person and then you touch them in different places. You don't want to touch them in the exact same spot that you're actually going to do the touch. So for example, if I were to touch a person on their forehead, 9 times out of 10, if they open their eyes on their forehead, they're going to open their eyes. So always touch them on the forehead. Most of the time they'll just blink. If they blink a little bit, they're going to keep their eyes shut, and they're going to be the perfect candidate for this. So what I do then is I sneak the touch, and then I have this person open their eyes over here, and what's going to happen is this person and this person are going to tell a story. I say, I touched them at all? And that's the only line that I used. Did I touch them at all? And then they're like, no, and then they go into this big conversation, and they actually build it up bigger than what it actually was, which is awesome because it gets great reactions that way. It's better when the spectator tells about what happens versus you telling about what happens. Now, in a real-time touch, what's unique about it is if I touch this person or I blow on this person's gonna feel it at the exact same time. And what's neat about it is as soon as you feel the certain sensation or a touch or something like that, I want you to describe what it is. And then from there you go into letting them talk about it. Always let the spectator talk about it. I cannot stress that enough. Now that you know the difference between dual reality and real-time touches, I'm gonna start off with the dual reality touches, and then later on in the DVD we'll move into the real time. So let's get started, guys. Now what I'd like you to do is just move in. And what I'd like you to do is just close your eyes. And if you feel anything, I want you to keep track of it, okay?
Okay.
But keep your eyes closed. So for example, you would keep that in your memory, okay? I want you to please make sure I don't touch him at all, okay? Did you feel anything? Did I touch him at all?
No.
Open your eyes for me. Did I touch him at
No.
all?
Left hand side. Just
Where did I touch you?
You touched me on the left hand side. What? No. What?
Hi, what's your name?
Shani.
Shani, nice to meet you. I'm Morgan Stribler. I'll be right back with you in just one second. What's your name, sir?
Aaron.
Aaron, nice to meet you. Shani, if you would do me a favor, I just want you to close your eyes for me. Okay? And I want you to take a deep breath in and exhale. I want you to keep track of anything you happen to feel. Did you feel anything at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you feel?
I felt a touch on the back of my arm.
Which arm? How many did you feel?
It was like 2 taps, I think.
2 taps?
Yeah.
Could you open your eyes for me a second?
Yeah.
Did I touch her at all?
No.
What actually happened? Can you describe it for me, please?
You touched me on the arm twice, on the back of my left arm.
You didn't touch me?
No.
He touched you.
Got serious?
I felt it on my arm.
No. I felt it.
Okay.
This is a trench touch. It's one of my favorite dual reality touches because it's so simple to do, yet very effective. It's only meant for 2 spectators though. The thing that you have to be aware of is a little bit of your surroundings because it's a little angle sensitive. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have spectator A and spectator B. Spectator B is going to close their eyes. And you tell them, I want you to keep track of any sensations or any feelings you may happen to experience. For example, if I were to touch you right here on your stomach, you would feel me touch you there. Or if I were to touch you on your forehead, I want you to just to keep track of these mentally. And I'll ask you in a little bit what's going on. So just remember any feelings or sensations you happen to experience. Now the reason that I touch them on the forehead and on the arm is I'm conditioning them to keep their eyes closed, which is very important because some spectators will open their eyes as soon as you touch them, even though you tell them to close their eyes. If you touch someone right here on the forehead, they might blink, but they won't open your eyes and you know that's the perfect person. If not, you might switch to the other person because you know you really want to make sure they keep their eyes closed for this. Now, what's going on, and this is the fun part, my body is blocking the sight line from spectator A and spectator B. And I'm getting right in their face and making eye contact simultaneously as I do the touch. I say, make sure that I don't touch them at all. So I'm getting the touch, and I'm looking right here, and my body, again, is in the sight line of the spectator, and I'm making eye contact. I simply bring the hand up, hit them right here on their arm twice. So I go touch, touch, make sure I'm not touching them at all, simultaneously as I'm doing the touch. And it's beautiful because they can't see what's going on, they feel the touch, and then what happens is, and this is what's fun about it, you have spectator B open their eyes, so spectator A, then could you please describe what happened? And then they start describing that I was nowhere near them and oh my God, he touched me on my left arm and oh, he touched me. And then they just build it and it's like almost a miracle in their eyes. And the time delay is especially important here. There's 2 things I want to make apparent. First is the time delay. You touch them, they remember the sensation in their head, but they're not going to remember or they're not going to say it until you ask them if they felt something. So even though they felt something literally 15 to 20 seconds ago, they're still going to say they felt it because you told them to remember any sensations or feelings they may happen to experience. And the thing you really want to do is distance yourself from that spectator. And it's very important that you say the last time you felt a touch. You don't want to obviously say it that slow, but could you please tell us what the last touch you experienced was? And they'll say it was on my left arm. And then obviously you're standing on that opposite person's side, you touch their left arm, and say, go ahead and open your eyes. Could you please explain what happened? Did I touch him at all? Or her at all? And they'll start building and building and it'll make a climax. Now the reason it builds so much, as with all PK touches, is because one person is watching and the other person has their eyes closed. And the thing is I like to talk about a connection and stuff like that. And it really makes it's so strong. And I almost dropped an F-bomb because it is so strong. And the thing that's fun about it is they start telling stories and then they making it better and better and they just elaborate and eventually they'll turn it into a miracle. Now the one thing that really makes this important and you need to focus on when you're doing this routine in particular is the distance you are from the spectator with their eyes closed. Because when they open their eyes and they see you 3 feet away and the person says you didn't touch them and you were nowhere near them at all, you want to literally be nowhere near them at all. And they have no idea that there's a time delay, and they think that they were touched at the exact same time as you touched that person. Now, you're standing right next to the person with their eyes open, and that's the person that basically is a witness to everything, and he's going to tell them what's going on, and then they're going to freak out and say, no, I felt a touch. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. Oh my God, that's amazing. You know, he touched me on my arm. And just keep that distance though, because psychologically there's no way I could touch that person if I was standing by the person who has their eyes open and feels the touch. It's very important when positioning the spectators that you want someone preferably shorter than you when you're picking your audience member, and you want definitely the shorter of the two to be on whichever side is going to have their eyes open. And the reason being is if they're way taller than you, they can potentially see the hand touch. Even though it's not likely because of the eye contact and the body positioning, you just don't want to take that chance. Just make sure you try to get someone shorter in that position, and it'll work out great for you. So that's a trench touch, and this is my go-to PK touch anytime I have two spectators. And the reason is the distance, the psychology of being far away, and you know, the dual reality. It's a great PK touch. It's, as I said, it's my go-to. So I hope you guys have fun with it, and I hope you go out and perform it. Close your eyes for me.
Yep.
And
Yep.
do you hear it? Turn around, open your eyes. He's been standing in front of you the entire time, haven't you? Where did you feel it at? At the same time, show each other. If you do me a favor, I just want you to close your eyes for me. Mm-hmm. And I just want you to keep track of anything you happen to experience, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, if you feel anything, just keep it in mind, mm-hmm. and continue taking deep breaths in and out. If you felt anything, I want you to raise your hand. Excellent. Open your eyes. Can you please point to where you felt it at? Did I touch her at all?
No, you didn't.
What did I do to you exactly?
You rubbed your hand across my chest.
But you felt it, right?
Yeah. I felt like a motion right across my chest. You didn't touch me?
No, you touched me.
No, I felt that.
The guarded touch is also really, really awesome. And I do it right after the trench touch, which it works perfectly because now I'm going to do it on the spectator who had their eyes open, and I'm going to have the person that had their eyes closed now open. So you're doing a role reversal so the other person can experience what that person before had just experienced. As I move them into position, I'm going to do it straight in front of the camera. You would actually be doing it from the side, but I want you to see exactly how I touch the person. Now in this current position, I'm going to go counterclockwise. And if you want to go clockwise, you'll use the right hand. If you go counterclockwise, you're going to use the left hand. You grab the participant with their eyes open, and you're going to position them in front of the spectator. But what the spectator doesn't realize that has their eyes open is that your hand is in fact behind their back like this. And I'm touching them right here with my fingers. Very important because you want to get a good solid touch. And it makes a nice brushing motion. Now, I position them in place, I get the touch, I touch their shoulders one last time. That's a psychological convincer that my hands were on their shoulders the entire time. Now, another thing that I like to do, and it's very, very important, same with the trench touch and most touches that you do, is you want to stand as far away from the person that you're going to touch with this particular touch. For example, I'll move back 3 feet because I have long arms. If you have shorter arms, 2 feet's fine. You touch the spectator, but I wait about 10 seconds and I look them in the eyes. And then I just touch right across their chest. Now it's time to reveal the touch. Did you feel any sensations or taps or touches or anything on you at all? And they're like, yeah, I felt somebody brush across my chest. You say, great, open your eyes. Now when they open their eyes, they got this visual of someone standing in front of them. And I say, no, you've been standing in front of them the entire time. Did I touch them at all? And then I just let the conversation go between the two. And as I said before, this will always escalate. Make sure, I can't stress it enough, and I'm gonna stress it even more throughout the DVD because I'm gonna really try to drill it home. Let the spectators talk. It's not about you, it's about them. So always, I can't stress it enough, let them talk and build up the memory. And they're gonna remember you forever from this because they're gonna make it much, much more than what it really was. And I'm gonna say it some more times because I'm gonna make sure you guys get it, but I really wanna just nail it home and put that nail in the coffin with you. Let them talk. One thing to be aware of is the height of the spectator because you always want the tall person in the front. First of all, it looks aesthetically better because there's no way I could have touched with this big person there or a bigger person than the other person in contrast. Now, the second thing is you want to be very, very aware of where you're brushing the shoulders when you, or the chest when you're pushing it into play, because you do not want to hit a female's private parts. And I mean, that could just totally throw your spectators off, and I mean, you could get in trouble for that. You just want to stay away from that. Just be very aware of where you're actually brushing them when you're moving the person into position. Now that's guarded, and I really, really hope you like it. It's a great segue from the trench touch, and I absolutely love it, and they go great together. And it's a multi-phase routine now where they get to feel it and then the other person gets to feel it, both sensations, and they work as a great combo together, like peanut butter and jelly. Just hold your hand out for me, turn it over, and just close your eyes, okay? Now I want you to keep track of any sensations or feelings you may happen to experience, and just keep a mental note of it, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is, I want you to do me a favor. Did you feel anything on you at all? Like, what was the last thing you felt?
Me?
Yeah.
Wait, do I open my eyes?
Yeah, did you feel anything on your hand?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Well, I don't really remember.
Did I touch her at all?
No,
I didn't touch you at all.
no.
Your eyes were shut, but I didn't touch you at all. Is this what you felt?
Yeah, I did.
But I was nowhere near her when I did that, was
That's
I?
so weird. I felt that.
But
No, I'm serious.
But I didn't touch her at all, did I?
Right here? You never touched me here?
no.
Well, I felt it. Yeah. I think I'm
It's spooky.
I think
If you could do me a favor and just close your eyes and hold your hand out for me. Now, I just want you to take note of any sensations you may happen to experience. Did you feel anything?
I felt something on like the top of my hand.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Can you open your eyes a second? Can you tell her what I actually did to you?
Cigarette, and you rolled it on my hand. Sprinkled it.
Is this what you felt?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely what I felt.
That's what you felt?
Yeah.
Excellent. Could you show the camera? Tilt your hands down and show the camera, please, like that. Excellent. Thank you very much. Can you explain what you guys just seen?
Rolled a cigarette
Yeah.
on my hand.
And I felt that sensation on my hand, but it wasn't on my hand, right?
Well, there was nothing on your hand in the first place, so no.
So I come up with an interesting principle that along the way of doing thread work with touches. The one thing that I didn't like was when you touch someone with thread and then you touch them with your hand or finger, if they were to talk about it, I felt like someone was playing with my hair or someone was doing this, and it doesn't really match up with the touch. The person with their eyes closed could possibly, and sometimes they do this, they give a different sensation or feeling which you do not want. So I came up with a thing for this. Steve Cohen and Alan New both use feathers, which I didn't find that as practical in like the real world. So I came up with a thing called tobacco. But first let me explain what you do. You're simply going to sprinkle the tobacco across the hand of the person with their eyes open. Okay? Now, the thread actually feels exactly like the cigarette, which is absolutely amazing. You cannot tell the difference. And after the effect is over and they both have their eyes open, you can literally go over to the person who had their eyes closed and be like, is this what you felt? And they will confirm that it is exactly what they felt, which is awesome, because you know it just doesn't get any stronger than that. And then let them build it up, and it feels identical to invisible thread, which is what you want, versus a touch. And as I said earlier, you don't want a discrepancy in their stories when they're letting you build it up in their minds. To begin the routine, you have one person close their eyes, and what you're going to do is you're already prior, you have a thread reel in your jacket. For intensive purposes of teaching, I'm going to use white thread. Please don't go out there and use white thread in a performance. The audience will see it. So you need to use invisible thread, and you can get that from your favorite dealer. You're going to attach it from the thread reel to the thumb, just like this. You have a thread reel in your coat, and you're going to pull the thread from the coat, attach it to the thumb, and you're in position. Later on in the DVD, I'm actually going to teach you where to put the thread reel and stuff like that. But for learning purposes, I want you to see the white thread. Now that you've attached the thread from the reel to your fingernail, you're gonna do one move. And I'll show you very slowly so you can see it. You're simply gonna loop in like that. Very easy to do. Now what you're gonna do is simply through magical gestures, you're going to touch the thread back and forth across the top of their hand. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to rub the thread right across their hand just like this. Okay? So after you've rubbed it across their hand, you're simply going to come in, steal the wax off your thumb, and let it go back into the thread reel into your sleeve. Now, you take the cigarette and you're going to sprinkle the tobacco right there on the spectator whose eyes are open. And you're gonna ask that person if they felt anything. And they're gonna say, yeah, I felt something on my hand. You have them open their eyes. Very important that they open their eyes first though, because you don't wanna do it and it'll get confusing and it'll dilute everything. So make sure they open their eyes first. Then you come over with the cigarette and say, is this what you felt? And they're like, yes. And then you let, sir, could you explain what happened? Everybody will start building it up again, and like everything else, you let them do the talking, and they're gonna blow you up big time. I mean, this is a great, easy thread touch that doesn't take, even if you're not good at thread, you can do it, because it's super simple, easy, and fun, and the tobacco feels exactly like thread. And when you do it, you're just going to have a lot of confidence in it because it takes very little practice. And that is tobacco. So what we have here is an invisible thread reel. It's got a piece of wax on the end, and you can simply pull the thread out to the desired length that you need. What I do for the PK touches is I attach the reel to the inside of my jacket. I actually put it a little higher in the coat generally. It doesn't really matter because you can pull it down the sleeve. But imagine it like a web seminar, and it's that easy to steal. I've already got it on my fingernail now, I just stole it. Now all I'm doing is coming in, doing that loop that I was telling you about, and you do the touch with the magical gestures. So as I said earlier, all I do is peel it back off of the nail, and then I release it and it flies back into the jacket. Now, it's very quick, simple motion. They'll never see it. I mean, I've been doing this for years and they never notice it going back into the jacket. Now let's say you are in the middle of a performance and your thread actually breaks. What do? I have a couple of things that I do in performance. The first thing is I wear a thread reel here and a thread reel here, just in case. It never hurts to have two of them, but if you only have one, what do you do then? I also have thread attached to my ear that comes down and is looped under the jacket and comes back up and attaches to a button. Or you can just have it attached to a button on any coat or whatever. You can attach the thread. That way I have two pieces of thread no matter what, and I always have a backup. It's important to always have a backup because you know how easy it is to break a thread on accident, just even by snagging it. The thing I like about the reel though is you can have two of them, or you can have it set up here. I prefer the reels. It's really worth your investment to buy two of them, because if you buy two reels, you're set to go. If one breaks, you can set the other one back up after the performance. So let's say for a moment you're about to do stare or tobacco and the thread breaks. What do? All you have to go into is like trench or guarded or the rose or another one that does not require thread. They do not know the routine that you're about to perform, which is beautiful. Only you know it. So the great thing is you're always one step ahead of them because they don't know your routine, and you'll never ever have to worry about, oh my gosh, I just broke my thread, what do I do? You just reblock it, and they're already in the perfect blocking position for trench, and you go into trench touch. It's simple. So this is a nice way to cover it if your thread breaks. But remember, don't be scared of thread, it's your friend. And if it breaks, they don't know the routine, so you're completely safe. Hold your hand out, just like this. Hold it straight out. And I want you to close your eyes, okay? Bring your buddy, where's he at? Come here a second.
Yes.
Okay? Just hold it and keep your eyes closed and keep track. Did you feel anything?
Yep.
What'd you feel?
Blow.
Tell him what happened.
He blew on my hand.
Did I blow on him?
No, you blew on my hand.
Where did you feel it at, on your hand?
Hand.
Is this what you felt?
Yes. Yes.
Can I see your hand a second? Just shut your eyes. Did you feel anything at all?
Yeah.
What did you feel?
Felt like somebody blowing on my wrist.
Open your eyes. Can you explain to him what happened?
He picked my hand up and he blew warm air on my hand.
Is this what, hold on a second, is this what you felt?
Just like that.
He was blowing on my hand.
I don't know about that.
I swear.
And now we're going to start getting into the real-time touches, which are very, very exciting. And in my opinion, they're the most revolutionary touches because the spectators feel it at the same time. The first one I'm going to teach you is called blow. It's where you blow on one spectator's hand and the other one feels it. So this is the gimmick. Essentially all you need is a safety pin and a baby sock. I prefer black, and I like to keep everything black. So it's just a little bulb that shoots air out of it. You can hear it if you squeeze it hard. You do it slow like that when you're doing the blow, so there's no sound at all. Now what you do is you safety pin it right there at the edge of your coat, and as soon as you position the spectator's hand, all you're doing is blowing right there on their hand in a position at the same time that you're actually blowing on the spectator's hand. And it's just so devious because it's under your coat and it's the perfect position for it. It's real easy to find, and you safety pin that in your coat. Your coat's at this position here, so obviously it's hidden now. And when the spectator sticks their hand out, I blow on the other spectator's hand, and I'm gonna try to get a shot of this where you can see it. You just simply squeeze the bulb. Now you don't want to squeeze it like that because it makes too much noise. You want to squeeze it soft. That way there's no noise and it's like a real blow. Now I'm going to teach you how to make the gimmick. You only need 4 items to make the blow gimmick. Some Scotch tape, a safety pin, a baby sock, and the bulb. This is the bulb that I was talking about, or the lens cleaner. And you squeeze it, and as I said before, you want to do it soft and gentle like an actual blow. And it's very silent. If you just, I mean, it's going to give it away, so do that very quietly. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to put it inside of the baby sock. Just like so. Now you're going to take some Scotch tape or another safety pin. I like to tape it personally just because it works better, and a safety pin sometimes can come undone in this particular position. So just by taping it, it works really, really nicely. And make sure you get it on the actual gimmick itself so it sits there in position. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this safety pin right through the sock. Now this just clips in your coat, and all you need to do is clip it to where the edge of the gimmick is right above the line of the coat. That way they can't see it. You just simply safety pin it through, and you close the safety pin. I've been doing this for a while, so I already have the holes in my jacket so I can see it perfectly where it goes. You just want it to line up right here to where it doesn't show when your coat is in a natural position. So essentially you can't see it from the spectator's point of view, but in reality it's right there under the coat, safety pinned in the jacket. You just don't want the spectator to be able to see it hanging out of your coat during performance. Now, in performance, what you're going to do is simply grab it, position with the pinky over the hand, and squeeze at the same time as blowing on someone's hand. And that's how you construct the blow gimmick. Now that you have your blow gimmick constructed, let's learn the routine. First of all, I'm going to show it from an exposed view so you can see what's going on. I position spectator A right here, and they're going to have their eyes open. This will be the person that you blow on. And you always want the person who you think will give the biggest reaction to have their eyes open. So if you've done a couple of PK touches before with them and you want to build to a climax or a nice ending, this is a good ending to a PK touch routine because it's real time. And I actually like to close a set with it. I have this person's eyes open, this person's eyes are closed. It's very important for spectator B, the person with their eyes closed, to have them sitting down. They need to be sitting down, and they have their hand in a low position. Now, I have the gimmick here. All I do is underneath the concealment of the coat with their hand at a low position, I can easily blow on the hand and it not be noticeable to anybody around you. This is 100% surroundable PK touch that's real time. I grab this person's hand, I raise it to my mouth to blow on it. That's gonna also help conceal if they were to happen to see you grab your jacket, which I've never been busted on it. So what you want to do is blow in the hand at the same time you do the bulb. Just like that. And you ask them beforehand, this is really, really important. Any real-time touch that you do, as soon as you feel something, whether it be a touch or a tap or a sensation, I want you to just say it as soon as you feel it, what you felt. So I'm lean over, bring their hand to me, blow at the same time as I squeeze the air onto their hand, and then they're like, I felt a blow. And then they're like, oh, he blew on me, he blew on me. And then let them just talk about it. As I said before, nailing that nail in the coffin so you remember it. When you take the spectator's hands, it's a twofold thing. First, it could conceal any movement that the spectator may see under your coat, which I've never been busted, it's really a non-issue. But more importantly, it disconnects you from that other audience member and makes their hand the center of attention. Because that's really what you want to do, is have your back to that spectator and bring their hand up, all the attention should be on this hand. Because remember, you can do this 360, and it's perfectly like surroundable, and it's so scary for people. And again, when they say, oh, I felt a blow, because I want to remind you again to make sure as soon as they feel it, you say something. I just felt somebody blow on my hand. People are gonna freak out because all the attention was right here because it was disconnected. So then let them talk about it, nailing another nail in the coffin for you. And it's real time. You just have to have the gimmick on you. And it's a great way to end like a 3-phase touch routine because it's real time and it's totally mind blowing. Now, the one thing that makes this touch so exciting is it's not really a touch, it's a sensation, which makes it even more amazing because they're conditioned to feeling a touch here or a touch there. I use it as a closing to a 3-phase routine. So for example, you could do the trench touch, guarded, and then end with blow, or one of the other real-time touches. I like to do that to really, make it in as hard as possible and very, very strong. And I always like to do a 3-phase routine because it builds to a nice climax. And you know what? That is the key, is just selling this material and being confident because it's so easy. Don't disregard it because the power is there and it's a lot of fun to do. This is Blow, it's real time, and it's all yours. This is a nice little tip and subtlety for blow. I'm really, excited about this routine because it can be done 360 and it's real time. But a nice little tip, because you want to make sure you have optimum angles for every position, is to not move the elbow at all. And you want to basically look very casual, like your hand's in your pocket, but you're going to have it right here in a resting position. You don't ever bend down to the spectator. You bring their hand up to you. It's very important that this person's hand is lower, and all you're going to do is simply squeeze the gimmick, and it looks very natural, and your hand can be right over the gimmick at the end. But obviously it'll be concealed in your coat. I like to have mine hanging down a little below the coat, and all you have to do if it's silver on top or if you get another kind of blower is just color the tip of it with a Sharpie. That way it's black and it matches the clothing you're wearing or whatnot. There's plenty of different color Sharpies on the market. I particularly wear black clothing whenever I'm performing. So, it's all up to your performance style, but just color the tip of it right here. It's very simple to do, and I just want to really, really stress, you want no movement in this arm whatsoever. You want to have their hand in position, and you look, you point, you bring this hand up, and you squeeze. And that's just a nice little subtlety when doing it surrounded, because it's completely invisible to the audience, and it just makes it a beautiful, beautiful touch. This is a nice little subtlety for blow when doing it surrounded. What you're gonna do is you position the spectator with their eyes closed first, so you have their hand out. Now, when you are grabbing the gimmick and getting it into position, you're simultaneously bringing the person with their eyes open hand up to you. So that's gonna create the misdirection of you getting in position with the blow gimmick. Now you look back at it one more time, and what you're really doing is making sure that your gimmick is aimed at the spectator's hand, then you blow on the spectator whose eyes are open. And it's also when they open their eyes and that you ask them what happened and they're starting to explain it, you take the person whose eyes are closed and you blow in their hand and you say, is that what you felt? And then they'll verify it, and then it'll really build from there. And that is the best part about it. And I hope you guys like that tip, because I do it surrounded a lot, because once you do one or two touch effects and then you go into another one, especially real time, once you perform for a little bit, you start building a crowd. So this is a nice little tip when working surrounded. I like to use blow as the third phase in a PK touch routine. I use guarded, trench, and then a real time touch. The thing is by the time you do the first two touches, you've built an audience generally. And that's the beauty of blow. It can be done surrounded, there's no angles, you have nothing to worry about, and it's a nice solid finish for your PK touch routine.